A Lexington man's family is now suing Anderson County, Tennessee and the city of Jellico on the Kentucky-Tennessee line for $30 million, alleging law enforcement agencies used excessive force in the wrongful death of their father.
Paul Moss was shot and killed by officers following a multi-county chase that started in Kentucky. WKYT's Grayson Passmore talked to his family and their attorney about the justice they say they are still seeking a year later.
Even beyond just being, my dad, people loved him. Like, he was just one of those people that could walk into a room and literally light it up.
It's been a little over a year since his death, and Paul Derek Moss II's daughters, Lauren Moss and Alex White, are still looking for answers and now justice.
That is something that we do hope for, that this can help change the future for somebody else, because we don't want to see anybody else in the same situation that we are. It should not have to be this way.
Since the district attorney decided not to press charges, Moss and White are suing Anderson County and the city of Jellico after their father was shot and killed following a police chase. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Moss led police on a chase across the Kentucky state line into Tennessee. Investigators said Moss lost control of the vehicle and crashed in Knox County. But after the crash, officers fired shots at Moss for, quote, reasons still under investigation.
They have indicated that he was telling them to kill him. Well, I mean, why would you do that? He wasn't trying to kill anybody. He was telling them to kill him. So I think he was in a mental crisis at that time.
According to the suit, a JPD officer used his baton to smash Moss's window and pulled him from the car. The family's attorney, Lavelle Glanton, says rather than de-escalate what they believe to be a mental health crisis situation, sheriff's deputies arrived. While unarmed, Moss was then shot 9 times. The suit alleging a total of 32 rounds were fired at Moss.
I think race had something to do with it also. I hate to say that, but sometimes you just see people different if you've been trained to see them differently. We're going to fight this case to the end, I can assure you. I'm not going to let up off of it, nor will his daughters. We're going to take it to the end.
In Lexington, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
And according to the lawsuit, the Anderson County Sheriff's Office and the Jellico Police Department violated their own high-speed chase and use of force policies. It also alleges Moss had been beaten and did not have a weapon on him.